with you. Good morning, John. Welcome.
Good morning. I want to point to an article in today's New York Times in the business section. It's called The Average Cost of Owning a Car. These are AAA figures. They estimate it's up 13% over last year, or $12,000 a year. Cost per mile is 81 cents. That's on an average of 15,000 miles a year. So it's scary figures, but it's AAA, which is very reliable.
Yes.
And it's frightening to read that. It's up 13% from last year.
81
Great
cents a mile,
information.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great
yes.
information. And you heard earlier, John, that I had mentioned, what it costs to keep an EV. I'm not pushing EVs for everybody that's listening, but it didn't make sense before. It makes a whole lot of sense now. You're talking about $3,000 a year, not to mention the tax break, not to mention maintenance. It's just unbelievable, the savings that's out there. And they're making the EVs affordable.
I'm looking at the same article, John. It's crazy. I mean, it's $1,000 a month. It's up to $12,000 a year.
Yes.
All of that. It's insurance. It's just the higher car payments. And also they're in depreciation too. They're considered depreciation. Wow.
Yes. Just a fast question for Earl. Now the strikers have hit 38 parts suppliers. I looked at the map in the paper. One of the big ones for Florida is here in Orlando. And how do you think that will affect, cars that have been in accidents or replacement for used cars? This is parts that won't be available, and it's going to continue. So besides the striking manufacturer plants, they're hitting the suppliers. What does Earl think about the supply of parts?
That's a whole other dimension, yeah. Right, because most car dealerships keep a pretty tight on-hand supply of parts. So if the part suppliers join the strike, it's not just the manufacturing; it's going to hit the dealer network and consumers right away.
Well, the thing to remember, John, is that right now it's just the big three, and if you take all the cars sold by Toyota and Honda and some of the other large Japanese and Korean manufacturers that are not unionized, and then you take Tesla, which is the largest auto. I mean, it's going to have a big impact, certainly on families and people, and communities that are, a lot of union workers. But it's not going to, a lot of areas that are lucky that it won't be affected that much. The unions have less and less power than they used to, and they have a duty to their members not to commit suicide. I mean, you don't want to win the argument and lose the war. I mean, win the battle and lose the war. So that's what I think. I really believe this thing's going to be settled quickly. I just don't think, not because the union leaders or the union workers want to, but because they realize the consequence is no job.
Absolutely, I agree.
Well, thank you, John. I appreciate the call. Anything else while you're on the line?
Well, side-by-side dealerships, I can comment real fast about that. One of the most successful was, I lived in New York, and they're still there, was the Atlantic Auto Mall, which is owned by the South Florida John Saluppi in Suffolk County. Every brand of car that's all together. You just walk next door, and there's Chevrolet, Pontiac, not Pontiac, but GMC or Cadillac, or it's all together in one spot, and very successful. Yeah. So it's side-by-side dealers all together in one spot. Called the Atlantic Auto Mall, South Suffolk County, New York.
Didn't he start the Palm Beach Auto Mall?
I believe so. Yeah, he's a local guy, as you well know, John. He's down here in, he's right there near Carmine's Restaurant. That's Palm Beach Gardens.
He's right across the street from us.
Well, that's his shop, but he lives off Prosperity Farms.
He lives on the Intercoastal Waterway between Donald Ross Road and PGA Boulevard.
Yeah.
Last year, he bought the Chevrolet dealership in Stewart for one of his sons.
Yeah.
So he's
Uh-huh.
a very
His son,
powerful
yeah,
man.
his son's he's big. I think he got his first dealership in Las Vegas, and he's got the Salupi Auto Group is huge.
Yes, tremendous.
Yes.
All right, guys, I'm waiting for
Thank you, John.
shopping report.
Thanks, John. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
Let's go to Charles. Charles is he's from Connecticut, and he lives right here in West Palm Beach now. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning. Enjoyed the show for a long, long time. Just a quick shout out to a fellow. You may want to write his name down. Niels, Nils, Bohlin. I don't know if that rings a bell with anybody.
Niels Bolin.
Niels Bohlin. If you Google it, you'll find it in 1959. He, at Volvo, he's an engineer, invented the three-point seatbelt. And
Okay.
recently, there was an estimate on the number of lives that saved. One man and his invention, and
What an
also
impact.
what Volvo did after it patented the three-point seatbelt. It made that an open item, and anybody could use it.
Yeah, way ahead of their
Wow.
time. Way ahead of their
It
time.
was Volvo, yeah.
Remarkable guy. But the other thing I want to ask you about is, and maybe just leave this to open listener discussion, is the possibility of EV fires. And I'm up in Connecticut for the summer, and there's been a lot of unfortunate tragedy about EV fires. First on a container ship or a ferry boat or something like that in Newark, where a fire began with some cars that were being, I guess, sent overseas, and two firefighters or one firefighter lost their lives. These things became practically impossible to put the fires out, and the local fire department, the Newark Fire Department, didn't know how to do that. EV fires also popping up on these electric bikes and things like that. Open discussion about EV fires. If you park your EV in your garage or in a large parking area, is there any concern about that?
I think there is, and I think it's a very legitimate concern. Is the whole lithium battery issue is something that surprised me that it's taken so long. I mean, Sony laptops catching fire 30 years ago or whenever it first started. We started realizing that lithium was dangerous, and they keep building more and bigger lithium batteries. And I'm surprised that science hasn't really come up with a solution.
Well, I know that the solid-state EV battery is Toyota announced that they had a breakthrough and they'll start producing it in 2025. And
It's fireproof?
yeah, there's no there's no liquid in it. It's
There you go.
so it's and also it has a 600-mile
Well,
range.
lithium isn't really liquid, but it's...
Right, what's that with all the other
it's,
stuff that makes up
yeah.
what other goo they put in there?
Yeah, so there you are. I didn't know that there had been that breakthrough, but I'm glad somebody, Toyota in this case, has come up with a fireproof electric battery. But
Problem
yeah,
is, it's nowhere yet. It's a
they're-
couple years away.
They're
so.
working on it, so that's good. Unfortunately, they don't have a car to put it in, but they'll have a.
Oh, they got a few. I saw a few of those. They got some coming.
So, but anyway, Charles, thanks for bringing that up. That's one of my pet peeves. Every time I read about electric vehicle fire, I say, when are they going to figure out how to make not just an electric vehicle, but how about a laptop or an iPhone? I don't want my iPhone catching on fire in my pocket.
Also, having the first responders running into a situation that they're not trained to handle. Years ago, when the hybrid vehicles first came out, Rick would host groups of firefighters to show them how to safely avoid being killed by the high voltage in the hybrid vehicles, and so it was really interesting how that happened. So I guess we're just one little local area here, but I assume other departments across the country go seek these things out for training. And
There is also a company in California that specifically does training for first responders that they can send. You can send responders out to this training course in California, and they will teach them everything they need to know about handling all the
EVs
electric
and everything.
vehicles and the information that they need that they then can bring back and pass that training back to their own
And of course, the
departments.
caller's point is they shouldn't catch on fire in the first place, and we shouldn't have to have first responders from California coming out to put the
Yeah,
fire
but
out.
we can't
Yeah.
can't ignore mitigation.
They've seen
Sure.
issues with these ever since, like the kids' hoverboards,
Yeah.
cell phones. I mean, and now, however, the newer technology are towards these dry cell batteries that will not have that effect.
Yeah, Charles, are you still on the line?
Charles, he was
I
great
am
talking.
still on the line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
I have,
talking to
one
you.
one more point. Well, just quickly, I want to
Okay.
thank Earl for that first book and the show. And dare I ask, when's the second book going to be available?
Okay.
He's thinking about it. He's considering his answer. He has just.
I was thinking. I was listening.
He wants to know how much longer he has to wait before he can buy your new book.
Yeah, I'm
done.
embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by the delay, and I said to somebody the other day that the auto industry is changing so fast. It's been one thing after another, and here we are in a automotive revolution. And essentially, as a car dealer, my dealership is an auto revolution, and I'm finishing a book that as soon as I publish it, it'll be obsolete because we'll be talking about maybe something that developed that I didn't even think about at the time. So,
Wasn't there something you want to
how's
add?
that for a good excuse?
Yeah, hence there might be a third book.
was
But
gonna
Charles, to answer your question, Earl and I will be finished, and we can guarantee you by the first of the year that'll be available for purchase.
I promised the first of last year, and Nancy's promising the first of this year.
But there's
So
some more
And by
content.
the-
you want.
next year you can promise.
Okay.
By the
Okay.
way, that book too, all proceeds will go to Big Dog Ranch. Charles,
Let's
thank
see if
you.
we-
Thank you so
Well,
much.
let's see if we can't get it out before Christmas because I make great Christmas presents.
This is very true. Yes. Although the Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer would still make a great
Oh,
gift.
they've already been given.
And we have plenty of them, and so does Amazon. Charles, thank you so much for calling. I look forward to hearing from you again.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend. We're going to talk to Ron, and Ron is from Summerville. And Ron, is that in Florida or North Carolina?
No, it's in Florida.
In Florida. Oh, well, welcome to
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah, good morning. I wanted to tell you this week I had a chance to go to the International Auto Show in Detroit.
Oh, cool.
I go, every year, well, except for the years of COVID. And Earl, there's two things that I took away from the show. First of all, I think I've been in a time warp or something. Because let me tell you what I found. 20% of the cars were $100,000 or more. For instance,
Yeah.
there was a GMC Denali, not even the Escalade, that with all the things that they added on to the bottom was $179,000.
Sounds like a Ferrari.
And so I got to ask you, because there were many cars that were $100,000.
Yeah.
What market are they trying to get? I mean, these are working people who make average salaries, and there can't be that many people who can afford a vehicle that expensive.
It's aspirational.
Yeah, it's the average vehicle is over 50,000, and that's MSRP. And the average dealer is charging over MSRP, so let's round that off to 55,000. So you're exactly right. To buy a product today for $55,000 is just puts a whole lot of people out of the competition, and that pushes them into used cars. And the used cars are way overpriced, relatively speaking, historically speaking. So it's putting a hurting on the public. People aren't paying their bills. They're falling behind on their payments. And that's what we do in America. We go through cycles. So we're cycling into a problem, and you hit on one of the biggest ones now: the cost of transportation.
Yeah, I purposely go to the show during the middle of the week, so I have plenty of time to talk to the reps.
Yeah.
And I had a chance to talk to the Toyota factory rep that was there.
Oh.
And I had a chance to explain to her how angry I am for all of us who have to deal with the additional dealer markups, all the things that you bring out on your secret shopper report every week.
Good for you, thanks.
And by the way, you didn't ask me, but I did put a plug in for you. I said if you want to set the gold standard for how a dealership should be run, you should look into your dealer, Earl Stewart.
Oh, well, bless your
and
heart.
I've never purchased a car from you, but
Thanks
I
for the
watch you
plug.
every week. Yeah, and I said, it's a darn shame that average working folks can't go out and be treated reasonably. Yeah. And I understand that they have to make a profit, but they don't have to gouge. Yeah. And I was emphatic about that. And by the way, this person was taking notes, and so she actually it wasn't just conversation. She took the notes down, and she said, "I'll make sure that the right people get this information."
Oh, thank you. That's
well,
really cool.
The thing is, Ron, the right people know the answer. Put yourself in the shoes of the auto and Toyota and all the manufacturers, that you know that your dealer network is an embarrassment. I mean, you'd have to be mentally retarded not to realize that the Gallup annual poll on honesty and ethics in professions put car dealerships at the bottom for the past 40 years. So, if you're an intelligent CEO, and most of them are, if the manufacturers, they know that the dealer franchise system is broken in terms of the consumer. Consumers hate them. And that is the biggest danger. Now, they'll never tell the press. They can't go public with the fact that they dislike their dealerships, but they dislike their dealerships for the way they treat customers. And they know that the consumer will win. And they're just dying to get rid of the dealer networks and to sell direct, just like Tesla does. So that's the best kept secret in automotive history, is the fact that the car dealership are really viewed in distaste and distrust by their own manufacturers.
At the Toyota National Dealer meeting, the general manager, the guy that replaced Jack Carter, upbraided for about a good 3-4 minutes about the dealers who were gouging the dealer installed equipment, the dealer fees. They started showing pictures of the FTC rulings and all the stuff and all the news. He goes, and it was like a lecture, and he finished to total silence. And then he moved on to the next topic.
Well, God bless him. I'm really surprised. And there was no booze or cat calls.
There's no booze or cat calls. It was silence. And then he put a statistic. He said the MSRP dealers that were not going over MSRP saw their collective volume go up and the retention go up, and the ones that are over MSRP saw their collective volume go down 2%.
Well,
Rod, I want to thank you for calling, and I want
Ron.
to let you know that with education and knowledge and the computer that sits before you, I mean, it's just like, it's amazing. We are becoming more educated. There are still a lot of people who are being taken advantage of, but we're here to fix that. Do you have any other questions?
No, I just want to let you know there's an army of people like us out there who will remember when all this is behind us who treated us fairly and who didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope you're right.
Thank you so much, Ron. We're going to go to Jersey Mike. Before we go to Jersey Mike, I want to apologize to everyone. Earlier, our network connection, was out, and everything's back up and running. Also, for Rick, you want to make the announcement?
Yeah, we've lost our Earl on Cars channel on YouTube for right now. We have the Earl Stewart Toyota channel on YouTube. It is operational, but unfortunately, Earl on Cars, it's not coming back up right now.
We were having some connection problems.
It was sabotaged
keep
by
that
the
in
car
mind.
dealers.
Right.
And we'll go
A
to
hacker,
Jersey
car
Mike
dealer
in West
hacker
Palm Beach. Good
finally got
morning,
us.
Mike.
We were having some connection problems.
Hello?
Hello. Oh, hey, we have a caller on the line.
Yeah, this is Jersey Mike calling from West
Hey,
Palm.
Jersey Mike.
How you doing?
We're doing
great.
Good to
good.
hear from you. I think you got one of the greatest radio shows I've ever heard, okay? I think
Get
you guys
outta
are
here.
right on the money.
Get
all the
outta
time.
here.
And by the
Oh,
way,
thank you.
No, really.
Thanks.
Listen, I went down one of the best places for dogs, and I used to do business with Peggy Adams, but I gave up on that. I actually adopted a dog from Big Dog Ranch for my roommate.
Hey,
And I have
congrats.
a boxer, and the other one I just got for him. The two of them are outrageous together. It's like a comedy show. You just laugh and laugh and laugh at what these two guys
Are they
get together
both
and do about
boxers or
that
just
show.
yours is a boxer?
Yeah, mine is 100%. It's a service dog. So I'm a Navy man, all right? And his is a boxer pit bull mix, which is very unusual. And she's a female, and mine's a male. Mine's about 100 pounds. So he's still not full grown.
Oh gosh.
And his her name is Shiloh, and it's about I'd say maybe 50 pounds.
Wow. I didn't know that they
And
use
so
a boxer
it's fun.
as
They
a service
wrestle-
animal.
They wrestle with, yeah, excuse me.
I said I didn't realize they would use boxers as service animals. They seem
No.
like
The Veterans Administration is the one who provided me the boxer.
Oh, okay. I'm saying it's just unusual because they're so high energy. You'd think that.
Oh yes, I know. But that's what I see. That's my sixth boxer. All the rest of them are buried, head to tail in the back of my yard here
Oh,
since
yes.
the year 1995. So.
Oh my God, you're like a serial killer of boxers. No, I'm just kidding.
No. They usually live to about 8 to 10 years, and this one's probably going to outlive me because I'm 77 right now. So we'll see. But anyway, and I've already made provision in my will and in my living trust to have that dog taken care of by my lifelong attorney
There you go.
in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Great. That's
That's
In
fantastic.
any case, let's go back to the car thing, okay? Because I got a few things I think might be educational. I've always been a Cadillac man. I started buying them in 1970. That's when they used to build Cadillacs the way they're supposed to be built. They were all steel. They had pillow seats. And I used to do about 65 to 70,000 miles on my car in my own business as an entrepreneur doing industrial water treatment every year. So I'd burn them out after 3 years and go get a new one. And I kept on doing that throughout the course of all those years.
Mm-hmm.
The last one I had was a 92. And they were all Coupe de Villes. They were all black. They were all two doors. First one was a Eldorado Brougham, which was a big car, a big 428 engine or something in it. But anyway, the last one had 320,000 miles on it when I gave it away. And I never had to do anything to them other than the maintenance call for in the manual. And if you follow that to the T, including the 100,000-mile transmission
What year again?
change.
What year was it? What year again?
The last one was in 1992.
That's crazy.
And that's when they cut them. They cut them down in 92.
Wow. I didn't think they lasted that long, and I thought it was like
The
GM
only thing that went on the 92 was the air conditioning system.
Hey, Mike, we've got a whole bunch of callers hanging on,
Okay,
so we're going to have to move along
All right,
here.
all right. Here's what I want to say. If anybody's got an old classic Cadillac like I do, I got a 1995 Seville, and you got a problem finding parts to it, and I had to put a steering column in it because somebody tried to steal out of my driveway, go to Cadillac Heaven in South Carolina, because that's my insurance company is the one who recommended them, and I actually got it, and I had them put it in. The only thing I would ask you is this question. They charged me to put a steering wheel column in to replace the one I have here, $950 from a local mechanic. It was a Midas shop. Is that a fair price, you think, to change out a steering column?
I don't know. What do you think, Rick? $950 to change it out?
That can be about reasonable because of the calibrations, the
Sounds reasonable
alignment,
to
and
me.
everything.
Sounds reasonable to me. Okay, listen, thanks very much, Mike. Appreciate the call. We got a whole bunch of folks holding.
Thanks.
I understand. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Mike.
We're going to go to Bob, and I send my apologies for those who couldn't get through or their calls couldn't be taken. We've had some technical difficulties. We're going to talk to Bob from Lake Park. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Happy first day of fall, everyone.
Oh,
is
thank
it?
you. I
Is
love
it?
it.
I got my auto insurance renewal, came in yesterday, and I'd like you to try to take a guess percentage increase on my car insurance. Stu, would you like to take a guess?
My first stab, it went up about 18%.
Keep going.
Rick's
30%.
Keep going.
Nancy guesses.
45%.
No, no, just under 40%.
You overbid. Oh, under
Can you believe
40%.
it?
That's insane. That's just year over year?
Well, it's a 6-month,
Oh, okay, so on the renewal. So what's
yes,
what
I've been with
company?
them.
What's the insurance company?
Well, I used to be with Geico, and I went to AAA, and they gave me a really good rate for a year. And now they've no accidents, no claims or anything. And now I get my renewal, and it went up just under 40%.
That's great. When Alan was on the show here, he used to say that if you've been with him, how long have you been with him? A couple of years, or
Just a little over a year.
yeah?
This is a new company.
What's your deductible?
I had pretty low deductibles.
That's your problem. You need to raise your deductible. That would save you a lot of premium.
Yeah, I understand how it works, but
Yeah.
I just thought it was. I did read that the insurance companies, every dollar of premium they took in last year, they paid out $1.20 in claims.
Gee.
And this year, for every dollar of premium they took in, they're paying out $1.09 in claims. So apparently they're getting whacked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
find a more financially stable insurance company.
I just want
Go out for bid, yeah.
I just want to talk a minute about horsepower, and I find it very interesting when you look at these companies. They use that as a marketing tool.
Bob, I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to explain to everybody that I'm unable to take your calls right now, and we're going to finish up, and we're going to speak to Bob, and then we are going to get to the Big Dog Ranch video. Thank you, Bob. Go ahead.
I just wanted to talk about horsepower and how the auto companies use that as a marketing tool and how they get to that number. And probably Rick knows this, but I think a lot of people don't understand. When they tell you a car makes a certain horsepower, they're talking about the certain conditions. So they're talking about putting in the highest octane gasoline you can put in the car. And the temperature has to be at a certain temperature, no humidity. You have to be at a certain sea level. And then they get to these numbers, and they use it as a marketing tool.
True.
And the same thing with the 0 to 60 times on the internal combustion engine. Rick probably knows this.
What do they do it all like on a treadmill or something?
Oh, yeah, it's same thing as when they're calculating fuel economy.
Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right about that.
Right. And I thought it was very, because they use the market, the cars. They'll say, well,
Yeah.
This car gets 240 horsepower, but if you put the regular grade gas in there, you're losing.
Yeah.
What percentage are you losing there? You're losing how much, Rick? 20%?
Yeah,
Probably 10 to
we
15.
got to go. We've got the dog of the week coming up,
Oh, okay.
and then we have a mystery shopping report. But thanks very much for the call. We appreciate it.
We are going to let's see. What are we going to do? I'm going to introduce Buck. That's number one, and he's 2 years old,
Big
and he is 2 years and 1 month, and he is a hound dog.
He ain't nothing but a hound dog.
He's a hound dog.
He's really cute. Wait till you see the video that Natalie is going to bring us. She's the presenter, and I just want to remind everyone that Big Dog Ranch is the largest. It's just amazing that there's a lot of people that don't realize that it is a cage-free, no-kill shelter. It's the largest in the United States. So they're doing a great job out there. They got a little negative press recently. I'm sure there are a few of you that read it, but if we get a chance, we'll share that with you
I didn't read it.
later. And we are good. Jonathan, are we ready for the video? Okay, so you're going to hear from Natalie, and the dog is Buck, who's 2 years old, 1 month, 2 weeks, and he's 81 pounds, and he is from Macomb County, Georgia.
This is Buck. Buck is a 2-year-old hound. And as you can see, I know, he's super friendly and he loves to talk. He's absolutely adorable. I have treats in my pocket, so as you know, hounds have a great sense of smell. There you go. And he certainly knows where all the food is. One thing with Buck, he is super friendly. He is house trained, so he would make a perfect addition to any home. He's also very dog friendly. He has a lot of buddies here at the ranch. He is an all-around, really adorable, sweet, loving guy. His markings are beautiful, and he's pretty mellow for a hound. He's got, like I said, a super sense of smell. You want to talk? Hold on. I'll show you his little couple treat tricks. Sit. Good
wants to track somebody
boy.
down.
That's
Good
a
boy,
big
Buck.
dog.
Buck does love to run around, but he also is a super cuddler. So it's not like you need a big farm or anything like that. But he really is just an adorable, super friendly family guy type of dog. So we are really hoping to find Buck a loving forever home.
Look at those floppy ears.
He's so handsome.
So how old is he?
Beautiful.
He's 2 years,
Yeah,
1
he looks
month,
young.
and 2 weeks.
Okay, so for our radio listeners, our non-streaming listeners, I'm just going to say go to bdrr.org. You can search the dogs and look for Buck on the
Big
webpage.
Dog Ranch Rescue, BDRR.
Yeah, bdrr.org for Big Dog Ranch Rescue. Or come back and watch this video when you're done driving. Go on to YouTube and watch us. This is... I could see this dog at Westminster winning the dog show in the
really.
hound category.
He's
there's
very
something about him.
handsome.
He's just so adorable. He's just a beautiful dog. Yeah.
He's okay. So he's like he's white on the underside, white tail, a big black saddle. He's got that sable color in his face. His he's got ears. I'm gonna say his ears are about a foot long each. And he has just got beautiful, shiny coat and musculature, and he howls like a hound dog.
And it's amazing. He's just so beautiful, and he's a cuddler. He wants to sit on the couch with you. He's a little bit of an unusual hound dog, and what a great pet he would make. And Stu, you want to tell him about the fees that we
He
pay?
ain't never got a rabbit either.
No, and ain't no friend of mine. He's and also he's 2 years old. He's full grown now, so he's 81 pounds now. So he's topped out. So he's not getting any bigger. So don't worry, you're not going to get a 120-pound hound dog. But yeah, so anytime you adopt a dog anywhere, there are costs involved. There are adoption fees because they do a lot of stuff for you. They do the inoculations, they neuter or spay the animal, and obviously you see the Big Dog Ranch Rescue, all the amenities and veterinary stuff that they have for them. So anyway, we pay all that.
And we're paying Buck's adoption fee, so
we're paying for
that's
that.
free.
So he's a free dog. So every Saturday, every dog that we highlight becomes an Earl Stewart on Car's dog, and so you that's it. It makes it really easy.
Yeah, definitely makes it real easy. We know how expensive it is out there, and there's a lot of dogs at the shelter that need your love.
Like
And-
500 out there. I mean, talk about a selection.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and as I usually say, Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. You can purchase that on earlsbook.com, or you can go to Amazon and you can purchase the book. And all proceeds go to. All proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch. I'm multitasking. There you go. I was waiting for
Nancy
that.
was scared. She
And
was-
it's a
get barked at.
$200 value on fees. Yeah, $200. They do so much out of Big Dog Ranch. If you get a chance to go out there like Earl and I did recently, and now that we're into the fall weather, it's the perfect time to go out. We went out when it was the weather was awful, but we still enjoyed ourselves. We enjoyed Pumpyland and so much more of the operating room and the dental facility that they have. So Big Dog Ranch Rescue, the dog of the week is Buck. And you can go to www.bigdogranchrescue.org. You can see Buck and you can see all the dogs, if they haven't been adopted, right there at that website.
That's right. So all you sportsmen, all you bird hunters out there, look at Buck. He can help you. No,
Yeah.
he needs a home with a family. He looks like a.
He's just out of the ordinary, Stu.
Yeah.
He would fit very well in a home with some AC.
That's right.
And cuddled on the couch watching some football.
Exactly. Give him some AC.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching. And share the video. Come back and go on to YouTube and forward it to your friends.
Sure.
You take him out in the morning, play Frisbee for a while, and bring him in the after lunch. You go inside and kick back on the couch when it's hot outside.
That's right.
Great idea.
You can also track down escaped convicts.
Yeah. Also, if you
For
lose,
sure.
well, you lose your remote, you lose your phone, you lose your keys. Buck's your man.
Okay, we are going to go to the mystery shopping report, and as I say, you can vote on the mystery shopping report. You can do so by going to text us at 772-497-6530, and that mystery shop is from we were out there in Irwin. And Earl, help me
Shorkey.
out. I can't find my. Here it is, mystery shop of Jim Shorkey, Mitsubishi.
Okay. Yeah, Irwin's a population a little over 3,000. It's kind of fun to shop small town dealerships and then compare them with like Miami, Fort Lauderdale. I mean, there's a world of difference between the small town dealer and the big town dealer. I mean, it's almost counterintuitive. Typically, you want to buy from a big volume, big city. You know, you think that's where you get a good deal. With car dealers, it's the other way around. You want to find yourself a small town.
You know, I was amazed at Irwin. I'm familiar with the area, but there are as many dealerships as there are. They're in Monroeville. They're in Uniontown. They're all over the place. I think there may be 18 of them. I'm not sure whether Stu knows the answer to that question
Not sure. No,
or not. No?
I don't know the answer.
Oh, okay. Earl?
I'm going to read in the first person this mystery shopping report. Jim Shorkey, Mitsubishi, as if I were Agent Lightning, our ace undercover agent that goes in every week to tell you what will happen if you go into this dealership. She sacrifices herself to let you know. I arrived at Jim Shorkey, Mitsubishi late in the morning and was greeted by Zach. Z-A-C-H. I mean, there's a small town name, Zach, from the service department. Did you have a service appointment scheduled? Zach asked. No, I replied. I'm interested in that Outlander I saw out front, pointing towards the car. Oh, okay. Please follow me. I'll take you where the salespeople are. He led me to a far corner of the dealership, to a lady who was seated. Could you page an available salesman? Zach asked her. She picked up the phone. A few minutes later, the salesman approached, extending his hand. Hi, I'm Logan. That's another interesting name. Zach Logan. He introduced himself. He guided me to his desk to gather some details. I must confess I'm fairly new here and still use a cheat sheet, he admitted. He proceeded to ask my name, my credit rating on a scale of 1 to 5, and what I currently draw. Interesting, the credit rating on a scale of 1 to 5. I like that touch. I think that if you have done a lot of shopping for cars over your life, you've probably found a lot of new salespeople. Car dealerships have about the highest turnover, meaning people don't like to stay working at car dealerships very long. And I think the average turnover in, I think the National Automobile Dealers Association says something like 30%. People just don't stay around car dealerships. So sometimes it's refreshing to get a new salespeople. They're less inclined to be, savage, I guess is the word. He guided me to his desk to gather some details. Zach did. I must confess I'm fairly new here and still use, I just did that. I really like the Outlander that's parked up front, I said. I mentioned showing him a picture of the window sticker I had. The MSRP was $35,670. That's not bad. I mean, that's it's average price cars about $50 today, and of course this is the MSRP, and there was no addendum. So, in the past several weeks, we found several car dealerships without addendums. If you'd listened to this show a year ago, I can't remember finding any without addendums. Of course, the addendums are the way they jack up the price on the MSRP, and it's just unconscionable. Some of these addendums are in the thousands of dollars, $10,000, $20,000 in fact. Logan excused himself to retrieve the keys for a test drive. When he returned, he gestured towards the car. Let's go. I got into the driver's seat while he placed the license plate. Walking to the passenger side, he suggested, let me show you all its features. But I cut him off. I've already checked it out. I'm ready to drive. He looked apologetic due to insurance reasons. I need to drive. I need to drive it off the lot. But we can switch places down the road. I can believe that. It makes sense. During our test drive, Logan highlighted the Outlander's smooth transmission, adaptive cruise control, and the surround sound audio system. We cruised through city streets, and I marveled at its acceleration on the highway. The comfort of the seating and the intuitive dashboard layout were also cool. Car impression handling around tight corners. Its responsive braking system didn't go unnoticed. I think Agent Lightning might be wanting to buy this car.
Yeah, I think so.
I've never heard of more.
See a lot of detail here.
Oh, yeah, she loved that. Logan shared anecdotes of customers who cherished the Outlander for its reliability and fuel efficiency. I even tested the parking sensors and rear camera as we pulled into a parking spot. As we approached the dealership, I asked if I could drive the car back onto the lot. Of course, you're good to go, he assured me. Back at the dealership, Logan walked me through the service department, mentioning it would be a place for future services. At his desk, he offered, should I get the pricing details for you? Let me add, as a dealer, as I said earlier, and oftentimes on the show, we own a dealership. And one of the things that car dealers do, which is one of the few really good things that they do, and if you don't do it, it's not a good thing, is show your customers your service department, introduce them to the service manager maybe, and maybe to a service advisor, maybe even show them the parts department. That's a really good touch. So this new salesperson, Zach, is learning some good habits, and I hope it serves them well. Okay, I nodded. He left briefly, returning with a sales worksheet. There were no details, just the MSRP, as I said before, $35,670, pretty low for an MSRP. With a line crossed through it, then the offer, $35,170. So that's a $500 discount. Now, you know, in the old days, we'd say, well, that's an awfully small discount. In the COVID days, or the whatever you want to call them, supply chain crazy days of the past 3 years, any discount off the MSRP is a welcome discount, and you just don't get them off MSRP. You get them when they jack the price up $5,000, and then they give you $3,000 off, so you're still paying $2,000 over MSRP. What about a breakdown, I asked, with taxes and fees? I can get that for you, replied. After another short break, he returned with a much more detailed document that looked like a vehicle's buyer's order. It was Jim Shorkey's Auto Group retail order form. And Nancy Googled Jim Shorkey while we're coming in the car. How many dealerships did you say you had? 12 or 4?
I'm going out on a limb here. I'm going to say 18, but
yeah,
I'll check
a
that.
big group. And if this is typical, and we don't know, so far so good. Price was $35,170. There was a $2,466 in state and local taxes, and $667 in title and registration fees. Now, Stu made a note that that's a bit steep, and I agree.
I think there's probably a private tag agency fee in there.
So you understand, we don't go into the business office. I keep saying this, we should. That's the F&I department, the box. It's a place where some of the most evil, I hate to use that word over and over again, evil profit.
Nefarious.
Nefarious is much more sophisticated. And you got to watch out in the box, because you can pay, and you generally will pay, more profit to the dealer in the F&I department, the finance department, than you do any place else.
But if we bought a car every week, it would get really expensive.
Yeah. So, and also, that's when these junk fees really pop out at you, because they try to hide illegitimate fees in title and registration fees. They come up with names and disguise it, and sometimes they don't even do that. They just hide it in the finance department, and you're signing so damn many papers that you sign it as if they had disclosed it to you, and legally they have, but from a conscience standpoint, you don't know what you're signing. Nobody knows what they sign anymore. Reams of paper. And the people sign things by trusting. You have to trust the seller today, because if you don't, they're going to get you. They can cover themselves in the fine print, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. He asked me, could you wait for a moment? I'd like my sales manager to speak with you. Of course, I'm sorry, I jumped a paragraph. I said, I'll discuss this with my family at lunch. And then he said, could you wait a minute? I'd like my sales manager to speak with you. I agreed, and soon he introduced me to Ian. Wow, interesting names. Ian promptly inquired, what can I do to earn your business today? There's a standard phrase. Reiterating my plans, I said, I'll discuss it over lunch with my family. Logan, as salesman, ever enthusiastic, suggested, why not take the car to lunch and enjoy it? Standard. They always want you to take the car. That's called puppy dog. You fall in love with a puppy dog, you fall in love with a car. I declined, saying, I appreciate their time. As I was about to leave, Logan tried one last time. Are you sure you don't want to finalize things now? You're our only customer in the showroom. We can wrap it up quickly. I chuckled, patting Logan's shoulder. I'll be in touch. Now,
Settle down, Logan.
That meant a lot to me, because Nancy does that to me a lot. When I get riled up, she smiles and pats me on the shoulder.
Settle down.
Yeah, settle down.
So I tell you, everything will be all right.
It's gonna
Pull
be
yourself
okay.
together.
So yeah, that's right. And I exited the showroom.
Like Cher.
So there we have it, a very small town dealer, Zach and Logan and Ian, and Shorkey is the dealer, and they're in Irwin, Pennsylvania.
And they're family owned and operated.
They are.
And there are about 16 dealerships.
Now, I will say this.
In the same
there
area.
ain't no way you're going to family own and operate 16 dealerships. And oftentimes the problems with dealers is not them. I mean, they're probably really good, honest people, or maybe not, but I mean, they might be. But when you got 20 dealerships or 100 dealerships or 16 dealerships, you better have a whole lot of honest, transparent people running them for you, or else you're just like, you might as well be evil yourself, because your customers are getting taken
That
advantage of.
takes my
Okay,
breath
we got to
away.
vote. We got to vote. We're out of time.
Takes my
here.
breath away thinking of having that many dealerships.
Okay, well,
any
Now, we
rate,
vote on the curve.
one-
We talked about this earlier. A is perfect. There are no perfect dealers. And if you just want the better than average dealer would get a A or a B, or an average dealer would get a C. That's the curve. So here we go.
I got
And,
one grade.
I have one more thing to say to our audience. Please text us with your grade. It's real important. 772-497-6530. Now back to Stu.
I got one grade came in from Bob, and he gives an A for Shorkey Mitsubishi. So the first one came to an A. I don't have any other grades to go on. I'm inclined to give him an A as well, but I'm gonna take a little shine off at A minus, just because there was a little bit of pressure, friendly pressure at the end, and it's likely that they do have a small junk fee.
Okay. Well, our EOC channel's still down, the Earl on Cars. But here from Earl Stewart Toyota channel, we have Johnny Z. Fradley says, Erie short key. Don't know what that means. But he says, I'll give him an A. Okay. Joseph Kelleher says, B minus. Registration and title fees are just a bit high. For me, I don't know. There was a tiny little pressure at the end, but
Pretty
I'm
good.
gonna say an A. I mean,
If you don't give them
there's
an A, you know.
no addendum, no fees. It just,
By the way, I think the comment is from Johnny Z. Fradley is this. You sure that's not a reggae song? All right. Well, Rick's is choking to death. Joseph Kelleher on YouTube gives him a B minus. Registration and title fees a bit too much.
got that one. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay, I repeated that one.
Yeah.
What do you got? So,
That's it for us. And for me, I say an A.
okay.
I'm going to go with Stu. I'd love to give him an A, but I think A minus is fair. It's a damn good grade. I mean, look at our recommended deal list. How many A anythings do you have? So,
They are rare.
this is one this is 1 out of 1,000.
Yeah, and you can go to gooddealerbaddealerlist.com and take a look at all of the grades out there in the dealerships. For me, to the audience, I've turned over a new leaf starting today, the first day of fall. And like Earl always says, you have to go out and purchase a car. And if I, week in and week out, which the dealerships deserved the F from me, I'm still going to change my mind and just vote on the curve, because we all need someplace to go to purchase a vehicle, and you just have to be educated. And it's a minefield out there. But as far as Jim Shorkey of Mitsubishi is concerned out there in Irwin, I just wasn't happy with the pressure. I wasn't happy with the fees. They're warm and fuzzy people. You can look them up. I don't know about the warm and fuzzy, but at any rate, I'm going to give them an A minus.
An A minus. Roadrunner Steve texted in. He's given them a B plus.
Let the record reflect that the highest grade Nancy Stewart has ever given out in 20 years. So they got.
I think you're wrong. Oh. I think you're wrong. I've already given out an A.
Oh, really? Who?
Anybody here going to?
It was Mullinax. JM Lexus.
Or Tesla.
Tesla. Ladies and gentlemen, do you see what I'm working with?
A bunch of
buffoons. Any more grades?
No, I think that's it. So the official grade is A minus.
Yeah.
A minus. Okay, so that is the mystery shop out there in Irwin. That is Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi. And Jonathan, what do we have left? We have 3 minutes. Do you want to?
Just out of curiosity, I'm going to Google the Shorkey dealerships and check their Google ratings. I'm curious to see.
I'll do that now. While you,
and they're an auto group. They're a Jim Shorkey Auto Group is what they're called. We have 2 minutes left.
But it's as long as you have 2 minutes, let me say this. The United States is a big place, and there are huge cultural differences, and we all know this. I mean, we talk about New York, the New York mindset, the California mindset, and then there's a small town. So that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing small towns are just nice places, and you got to give up some stuff. You don't have the giant department stores and 8 zillion McDonald's. And that kind of stuff there. But here's what you have. In small town, in the Midwest, you get nice people and nice retail businesses. So I think that's what we're
when
experiencing.
you're likely to see your neighbors or the same people over and over again, I think that has a different effect.
Good point.
There's so many people down
If
here
you
in South
screw one
Florida.
person in a small town, everybody knows.
Yeah. But if you're in Broward County, Florida, there's 4 million people down there. You're never going to see the same person again.
You don't have any word of mouth means nothing when you got a $2 million people.
Right. But even the reviews, it gets lost in the noise.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The word is knowledge is power. And it's so important to start that that walk through your PC, picking out the model, taking precaution, and you're very protected, by going to the internet before you start at this journey to purchase or to lease whatever you have. You're very protected. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We'll be back next week at the same time, 8 a.m. Saturday morning for Earl on Cars. Have a great weekend.